Good morning, everyone. We are doing two of my favorite activities today. We are going to a garden center and we are going to a thrift store, both here in Chicago. So the garden center that we're going to, it's definitely the one I visit the most. It is probably my favorite in Chicago, not because it's better than all the other garden centers, but because that's where I got my first two houseplants that kind of started my whole houseplant and garden addiction, and that is Gethsemane Garden Center up in Andersonville neighborhood. So we're gonna go there. I'm on the hunt for two items. One is dahlia tubers. That's usually where I get all my dahlia tubers. I might be a little bit ahead of the game right now. It might be too early, but oh no, then I'm gonna have to go back again. So sad. So we'll see if they have those, and then I need to look for houseplants to replace two houseplants that are either completely dead or dying. So I'll show you the one that's dying. The one that's dead is already gone. I'll show you what I'm looking to replace. And then we are also going to Mercantile M, which is a thrift/antique store. Maybe it was about a month ago. We spent a whole day going to at least 10 different antique stores in Chicago looking for a very small bench, like something that was very specific. We did not find it, but I got to go to a whole bunch of new antique stores and figure out which ones are my favorite. So Mercantile M, it's near Gethsemane. It's fairly small, but it had the most items that are kind of the items I look for, and it was one of the cheapest that we saw. So the best value for the quality of the item. And again, that's my goal whenever I go to an antique store, is to get something I need that's better quality than if I bought it new, and either the same price or cheaper. I'll show you a few of the things that I'm planning to get, but also there's an empty space here because we took my IKEA desk, we moved it out of this room that I've had forever, and I am getting a desk that I found at another antique store delivered. I think it's coming today. So if it comes today, I will show you in this video, but I'm looking for a few items from Mercantile M for this room. So let me show you what it is that I am on the hunt for. So the desk is gonna go here. Again, this rug I got in an estate sale for $100 for this size, which is fantastic. I'll link down below how I subscribe to local estate sales, but it's fantastic, a fantastic way to find good quality items, again, for a cheaper price. But the desk is gonna go here, and then I had this white painting. You can see everything that was in my old desk is now on the chaise lounge, but this white framed painting was over here. I might move it back, we'll see, but I kind of like it in that little corner over there, but I want something to hang above the desk on that nail that I already have. These two candle holders were also from a thrift store, like $10 each. I don't like them in here because I'm afraid I'm gonna light the wall on fire, but I think it looks pretty. And also, I'm looking for some sort of small trunk, like really small trunk, like maybe 1 by 2 feet to put at the foot of this chaise lounge. I can put plants on top of it, but then I also want to store some stuff inside of it. So I'm on the hunt for that as well. But we'll see if I can find some artwork, a little trunk, anything else that looks pretty. And hopefully I'm able to find those items. Everything on this wall that's hanging is also from an antique store. And I think the small brown oval paintings, which I got together, are probably my favorite. I just love the colors on those. As for the plants I'm replacing, so this is the one that's not in great health. This is my bird of paradise. I just got in the last 6 months, I think. It had a really bad infestation of black aphids, which I didn't even know you could get aphids inside, but you can. And it seemed like once the aphids were gone, it was gonna be okay, and then everything has kind of started shriveling up and dying. I don't think it's a watering issue. I mean, it always can be a watering issue, but it just seemed to happen right after the aphid infestation. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to get rid of it yet because it's still vertical and upright. And until it flops over and tells me that it's dead, I'm going to try to keep it alive. But this was in the stairwell, but I'm also not really sure if I loved it in the stairwell because it does feel like more of a tropical plant. I'm thinking I might move this into my office, assuming it doesn't die. But if you have any tips for it, let me kind of take you in close on the leaves. You can see here the edges are brown. This top one actually looks probably the best of all of them. There is a new leaf that's unfurling. So that gives me some hope, but let me know what I should do with this plant. This is the corner it was in with these mirrors. I liked the height of it, but again, it just kind of felt a little too tropical. Hello. A little too tropical to me. So I might look for something, I don't know, that's a little bit different for the space, but again, hopefully not too expensive. These mirrors were also from an antique store. Now I will say, I think Gethsemane is a pretty good priced garden center. There are some in Chicago that are very expensive. And then there are some that maybe are a little bit cheaper but don't have as much availability. But I do think the prices at Gethsemane are pretty good. I mean, you can get like a giant tree for hundreds of dollars, but you can also get houseplants for like $10 or $20. Smaller ones, obviously. So we're gonna head out. I don't know where we're going first. I also need potting soil. It's that time of year when I start having to stock up on that again, but we'll head out and I'm hoping I find what I'm looking for, and then fingers crossed the desk does come today and I can show you what it looks like because I'm really excited. I'm back home now and my desk has arrived. So let me show you that first and then I'll show you what I got today, which wasn't a lot, but it was stuff that I needed. This is the desk and I really like it. I feel like it looks extra small on camera here, but it's good size for what I need. The last desk I had in here again was an IKEA desk I'd had forever. It was slightly longer, not too much, but really I just need a computer and a second screen for work and that's it. But look at this. So obviously it's old, which means that there's going to be scratches, it's going to be worn, and that's exactly what I like. This is really, really cool. And I didn't know this. I thought the carvings were lions when I first saw it, but apparently it's what's called Green Man masks, which are about like the cycle of nature. So I think this is perfect. And all these here are different drawers. The handle is the mask. I just think this is so cool. And I think it looks really nice in this room. It's also not incredibly light, but it is lighter weight than I thought. So it comes in 3 pieces, 1, 2, and then the top is the 3rd piece. And I was worried my husband and I wouldn't be able to carry it because the moving company brought it up here, which is nice. But if we ever move or take it down, I do think it's light enough we can carry it. It's also on wheels, which is nice. So not like it's gonna be moving around a lot, but if I ever do just wanna shift it, that's easy enough. Okay, so as far as what I got while we were out, we first went to Mercantile M, which again, it's small, but it's definitely the antique store that's most my style, and it definitely is the cheapest. I couldn't remember if it was from the last time we were there, but looking at the prices again, yes, definitely cheaper than the other places that we went to in the past. So there was a lot of stuff there that I could have gotten, but I was only getting the stuff that was on my list, sort of, because I didn't find a picture, but I did find this mirror, which I really like. It's not like super heavy, but pretty heavy, and it's just wood and it has some carvings. I don't know if the permanent, oh hey, there's everything on the floor. I don't know if this is going to be what I permanently hang above the desk, but I thought for at least now, I'm gonna put it there. And I actually forgot, it was funny, it was while we were out, I got a text from my aunt about a photo of, a picture of hydrangeas, the painting of hydrangeas that she had, that she was going to give to me, and she already told me that, and I forgot. And I actually think that will work really well here. So I don't know if the mirror is gonna live above the desk, if I'm gonna put it somewhere else in here, because I would like a way to reflect light and make this room a little bit brighter. So I think it's definitely gonna live in here somewhere, but it's gonna go over the desk for now. We also went to One Stop Vintage Shop in Chicago, which was our first time I was there. Again, pretty good pricing overall, but it was much larger and they had much larger items too. So they had like full couches and furniture that were definitely more expensive, but they also had like smaller things that were kind of either normally priced from what I usually see at other antique stores or a little bit cheaper. But I kind of feel silly because I was still looking for like a small trunk and we didn't find it there. But luckily the guy who was working there asked us if we needed any help, and I told him what I was looking for, and he said, oh, we've got a ton of those, they're just in one of our 40 warehouses. So we happen to be obviously in the store, but I mean, this makes sense now. Clearly there's a bunch of warehouses that they have with a bunch of things in it. And so I was like, I've never asked at any thrift store, antique store, for specifically what I'm looking for and if they have it somewhere else. Like, I just never thought that was a thing. I assumed that everything in the store was what they had, and again, that's silly because they need to keep shifting things in and out. So he said he'll call me in a week and like send me photos of the trunks that they do have in the warehouse, and I told him I was looking for something like 2 feet wide at the maximum. So he's gonna do that, and I thought that was really great, and now I know that if I'm looking for something specific, to ask them. So that's where we went, Mercantile M, One Stop Vintage Shop, and then we went to Gethsemane, and they were doing, I forgot they had this, they have free classes on Saturdays, or like one Saturday a month, and it was a bonsai class. So I got to listen a little bit to that, but I got one plant. Let me grab it. Ooh, hello. This is the palm, I don't know if it's Neanth or Neanthe Bella. It's not as tall as the Bird of Paradise, but it will be eventually. It is kind of what I'm looking for though. It doesn't feel as tropical to me as the Bird of Paradise, and it is still very upright and vertical. So since it's gonna go in the stairwell, I don't want it to be very horizontal and take up a lot of room on the stairwell. So I think this will be perfect. Also, I already have a smaller one that I've kept alive for a while. So I know I can take care of this plant. So this is the one that I'm going to put in the stairwell in place of the Bird of Paradise, but still trying to keep the Bird of Paradise alive. I took a photo before we left and I showed it to the workers there. Again, the workers at every plant store or garden center I've ever been to are always so nice and knowledgeable, and Gethsemane Garden Center is always very willing to help. So I showed a picture to someone there, let them know that there was a pest infestation. The infestation is at least gone now. And they said it is a good sign that everything is still upright, it's not flopping over. So hopefully once it kind of settles in now that the infestation is gone and starts to put out new growth, the new growth will look healthy, and then I can slowly remove the older leaves. So that's gonna be my plan, trying to keep it alive. But I am excited to have, I think this plant just works better for me and is more, I guess, my plant style than the other one, at least in that position. But again, I do think, assuming the Bird of Paradise stays alive, that I might want to try to put it in that corner back there and maybe add a grow light. I don't know, we'll see. Plants always get shifted around, I feel like, until I find the right space for them. Also, this I didn't get today, but I wanted to show you something I started doing recently, and I really like it. So growing up, I was subscribed to a bunch of magazines because that was just at the beginning of the internet or slightly before, and I loved like cutting out things from magazines and scrapbooking, and I really haven't done that much as an adult. So I am subscribed to, which ones am I subscribed to? I'm subscribed to Horticulture Magazine. I'm subscribed to Garden Gate. I'm subscribed to Fine Gardening, and then I just signed up as like the American Horticulture Society member, so their magazine I also get. So I get 4 magazines. They don't all come monthly. I think it's either bi-monthly or quarterly. But what I'm starting to do now is, instead of, let's say I find something helpful, a couple pages that are exceptionally helpful in the magazine, I don't want to have to save the whole magazine and kind of forget what page it was on or where it was at. So what I've started doing is cutting out the pages that I find helpful, and I've started to put together this album. So this is just a photo album, and it's one of those photo albums that has a film on it. So I'm not going to peel this one off, but like I can lift up the corner, peel it off, put it back down. The only thing I wish is that the pages were a little bit wider. I mean, I guess when you close it, they almost come to the edge, but it's not like their page width. So what I've done is either take pictures that I like kind of as inspiration, cut them out of the magazines. I also have any information that I find helpful. So this is all about when to divide different plants. This was about a new to me native that I really liked. So I'm just starting to put the clippings from the magazines that I find helpful in here. And then I have a bunch that I'm going to go through. This is my goal of having a greenhouse one day, if we ever have a yard, and that's kind of the style I like, but who knows, my style changes, I feel like, all the time. So let's say if we ever have a yard in like 10, 15, 20 years, who knows what I'll like then. But it's really fun. I mean, it's not like it requires a lot of effort, but it's nice just to kind of sit down with some scissors, cut out things that I think are helpful or pretty, and put them together in a book. And then it's easy just to grab this album and find what it is I'm looking for than having like 20 different magazines and I can't remember where it is. So that's what I'm doing now. Let's go ahead. I'll hang the mirror. We'll see how it looks. I don't know if I'm gonna pot up this plant today or I might just set it like inside the pot. It's in the nursery container now, although it does look like it's filling that container pretty well, so it might want to be repotted. Make a game time decision, but I'm gonna hang the mirror first. Well, I do like the mirror, and I actually don't mind something that size and shape above the desk. I think that might work actually pretty well. I don't think I like the idea of the mirror above the desk because that means, I don't know, I just feel weird like every time I'm working, I would just be looking at myself. So I still think I'd want a piece of art above the desk, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But at least for now, I'm gonna leave that there because again, I like the size and shape of that. And then here's the house plant on the stairwell. So again, this is where the bird of paradise was. I do miss the height of the bird of paradise because it kind of bordered that mirror, which was nice. But again, I like this style of plant better. I haven't potted it up yet because I prefer to live with the plant in the pot, make sure I like it, it's in the position I want before I go ahead and pot it up. So I'll probably leave this for, I don't know, a week or two. So that's everything for this video. I'm glad that I found things that were on my list and I didn't go too crazy, but I still think there's, a couple things I need to look for. I'll keep you updated on if I do find a trunk or not. Let me know any tips on the bird of paradise and if you think there's anything else I should do to try to keep it alive and healthy. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, also ignore the construction noise, but I think the church with the clouds behind it looks really beautiful right now.